Hi guys. So this episode is dedicated to our good friend Doug. Doug was a friend of my mother's. Doug lived in Indianapolis. He was such a fan of the show. He watched everything, and he never really watched Bravo, but he would watch all of our episodes and just was so supportive, so loving, so kind. He also encouraged my mom to start writing again. And I will love him forever for that, because I feel like I got a part of my mom back from having her be so creative again. So we were actually just with Doug in Indianapolis 2 weeks ago, and he died this week. And so this episode is dedicated to him.
I got to meet Doug very briefly, and everything Carson said is true. And I felt like I had a little bit of kinship with him too, because he was very easy to laugh and very kind and very patient. And the world is a little bit
Dimmer?
sadder.
Yeah, sadder. It's a little sadder
A little
without
dimmer.
Doug in it.
Yeah.
This episode, though, is dedicated to Doug.
Thank you for listening, guys, and we love you, Doug.
Ease on down the road. Ease on down the road. Have you ever seen The Wiz?
I was like, what song is that?
It's from The Wiz with Diana Ross and Michael Jackson.
I know of it, but I haven't made the time to watch it yet.
I grew up on it.
I know. It's a popular one, I've come to realize.
And people would do it in their high school musical at a black school, obviously. My school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my school wasn't doing The Wiz.
Yeah, I had never even heard of it. It's like a Disney movie?
No, it's literally the black version of The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I know that part. I just didn't know who made it.
Diana Ross and Michael Jackson did.
I mean, I knew that part. I mean, I didn't know what studio made it. Sorry.
I don't know either. But Diana Ross plays Dorothy, and she has this, when they're going down the yellow brick road, this is my bad Diana Ross, but she goes, ease on down the road. And then Michael Jackson's the Scarecrow.
That's
and it's
so cool,
in
man.
the 80s at their height, you know?
Do you know Michael Jackson was almost Spider-Man?
What?
He really wanted to be Spider-Man.
I did not know that.
I know, but he got to be Scarecrow.
He got to be the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
Kind of similar, but not really. Who would you be in The Wizard of Oz?
In The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Maybe the Tin Man?
Oh, yeah.
He's looking for a brain.
No, a heart.
No,
the Scarecrow doesn't have a brain.
That's so funny that some of them need physical things and one of them just needs a pep talk. You know?
Guys, Ezra he's never seen the stage musical Wicked, so part 2 is going to be all new to him.
No spoilers, please.
No
in
spoilers.
Any comments or anything.
I'm very excited for it. So, hi guys, welcome back to the Real House Guest of North Hollywood. I'm your host, Carson. I'm here with my producer / lover, Ezra.
That's a strong word.
Lover. Or producer.
Let's not mix work and life too much. But hi, guys.
Hi, guys. We're back. We've been off. We've been...
Yeah, traveling.
And as a lot of our listeners know, after a long boost of unemployment, I'm now gainfully employed full-time.
Whoop, whoop.
So with everything going on, too, in LA, if you don't live in LA, you're probably like, are you okay? Is your city a war zone? No, it's not a war zone. At all. The news is lying to you, but there has been some exhaustion just in the feeling like we need to protect our community.
Yeah. Informing ourselves to the best that we can, trying to steer clear of misinformation, which is difficult for everybody
Yeah.
on social media and everything.
I just want to make it clear, though, to people who listen to this that this is not a nonpartisan podcast. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is very partisan.
Or not necessarily partisan, but focused on.
But we're never going to say, like, yeah, this isn't a political podcast. I'm not like, that's not my journey. I think there are ways I could speak up better, honestly.
We're not here necessarily to talk about politics, but we have values.
Yeah, we have very strong values and morals, and Los Angeles is made up of immigrants, and Los Angeles is our home.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
So I just want that to be clear to everyone listening. Fuck ICE.
Yes, fuck ICE.
You know what? One narrative that kind of annoys me too about that whole thing is people being like, immigrants are so great. They do all the jobs we don't want to do. That's kind of like, one, like immigrants are your teachers. They're the people who like work with you. Like it kind of regulates an immigrant's role into society as like,
you mean relegates?
Relegates, yes. To like labor we don't want to do and kind of puts them as like labor when they're not labor, they're human.
They're not a monolith.
No.
They're not faceless servants that should be grateful for us to let them work for us, you know, in any shape, way, form. So
yeah, I always find it funny too, like with you, when people were like surprised you weren't born in the States, because their idea of an immigrant doesn't look like you, doesn't sound like you, it's something else. And it's like, y'all don't really know what an immigrant family is even, you know?
The amount of times I've had people in different walks of life say to me, your English is so good. You speak so eloquently. You're so proper. You're so polite.
It's crazy.
You know, but then I'm not the only one at the same time, you know?
No. But yeah, that's where we've been. What did you think of Indiana?
I thought it was not radically different. There were certain things just in terms of comforts that we have that, you know, that exist in Indiana as well. You just got to go and search for them and, you know, venture into the different communities. It was a lot quieter.
Yeah.
I felt like, and a lot more spacious. It's just, you just can't get away from the fact that, like, you know, you can walk around and like not see a liquor store every which way you turn, you know, and people have front yards.
And
it's
backyards.
Not just it's not just a concept.
Front yards,
it's like a real
side
thing.
yards. Like growing up, we had our front yard, which I never really played in my front yard.
Missed opportunity.
We played in our side yard because that's where like my mom built this like, I don't want to say jungle gym, but it was like this tall slide. Yeah. And then you walked up and there's like an area to hang out and then this fast ass slide. I hated going down the slide. Growing up, because like my mom and my grandpa built it, it went way too fast.
Oh, for real?
Like, you know how I'm an anxious, nervous adult?
Yeah.
I was that way as a little girl.
I mean, it starts somewhere.
And so it probably started on that slide. And my grandpa, I remember when he built it, he just like kind of threw me down off that slide and I went so fast.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I like my body flew out.
Oh, shit.
Like it went so fast. It was high up. And we had like a little swing set.
Yeah.
And then our backyard, we had a backyard too.
Oh, man.
But my mom's backyard, it's so crazy. My mom doesn't really have a side yard now.
No, I think she just has a front and a backyard.
Yeah.
More spacious front than back, though, I would say.
No, the back's more spacious.
Would you say so? Or,
it's an acre.
I mean, less busy.
Yeah.
The front is less busy than the back.
Yeah, and we had a lot of fun in the front yard.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's very pretty, the back as well. I think they've done an amazing job because I was there like very briefly 2 years ago. So I think it looks wonderful. So.
In Grammy's apartment, so cute.
Yeah.
So cute. We hung out with my grandma a lot. If you guys listen to book club, we had fun with her.
The OG.
We drank with her a lot.
Yeah.
I did, at least.
I didn't.
You didn't. You had I was like pouring vodka for Grammy, rosé for me, Capri Sun for Ezra.
Honestly, I've told people this, and I haven't said it too many times, but I said it the other day. If I had a pitcher of just Capri Sun at the ready at all times, I would be so happy.
You'd be happy. Happy boy. The other thing we've been doing that's kind of prohibited our Bravo watching has been our Love Island watching.
Oh my God, the memes.
The memes.
The memes.
So we're not going to do a full recap of Love Island. I think maybe once it gets later in the season, we might but we're going to do check-ins because if you're not watching it, you should.
Seriously, it's ridiculous.
The problem is with recapping, since it's every day, essentially, it's so hard to catch up, for a recap. Because by the time we record and release, we're 4 days behind, 3 days behind. And that's a lot in Love Island years.
Yeah, it moves by really quickly. So the best we could do is literally record the moment after we're done watching it, after it just airs,
and then edit and put it up
immediately.
And then it's irrelevant in 24 hours.
But to whoever wants to listen to it within that small gap of time. But
let's just do rapid fire opinions real quick.
Oh shit, rapid fire.
Rapid fire. So what do you think about Huda?
I think she's growing. I think she's showing the potential for
no
it.
No Huda hate here.
No Huda hate. No Huda hate. We can all make the occasional joke here and there, as long as it's not...
Because I've crashed out like her, though.
Yeah, right? It's recognizing of our shared humanity that we can all do some things that aren't the healthiest now and then.
Love Huda.
Yeah. Showing her all the love. Nick, I think he's turning into one of my favorite characters. He's making me laugh, especially the last episode, so much. And I don't know. I'm grateful at his jovialness.
Ace.
He's quieter. Does it seem like he's quieter to you?
He's plotting.
He's plotting.
I don't trust him.
Yeah.
Sierra.
I think she's concerned about Nick. But just like Nick.
Bombshell.
But both of them, I think they're both realizing, in a non-toxic way for the most part, I haven't seen anything particularly toxic, that they can also
explore
a little bit as well. Yeah.
I saw, though, that new Bombshell TJ is a Trump supporter.
Oh, damn.
So you know how Sierra was like, Nick, do you believe in evolution? She needs to ask TJ that.
I'm surprised she didn't ask that.
What do you think of Oleandria?
I think, as always, she is the smartest out of everybody and the most calm. And I just have the utmost respect for her. I think if she wanted to be, she could be the leader of
She's
the
so
pack.
beautiful, too.
Yeah.
During the Meg twerking challenge, her butt, water. When Shelly was like, her butt is like water, I was like, her butt is like water. It is. You know who is our favorite, though?
Who's our favorite?
Amaya.
Oh, yeah. It's a development. That's why I was who is our favorite?
It's a new development because we hated Amaya at first.
Not hated. Don't say hated.
But we were not feeling her. And then we realized, guys, she is the most authentic person in there.
Yeah.
She's so...
Almost
her and Jalen would have been such a good match.
Her and Jalen?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I think Jalen was a little...
He was focused on Oleandria. He didn't explore enough.
He was. I think he was very kind and chill, but I didn't get a very strong sense of his personality yet because he hadn't had the opportunity to really do some more things.
I really hope he becomes a travel influencer and sees the world. All these brands are reaching out to him, being like, "We'll fly you here, we'll fly you there." I'm like, "Yes, Jalen, see the world."
As they should. What is this trend of secret Trumpers? Right?
I saw this TikTok that was NBC Peacock is just trying to see what level of conservatism we will take.
Yeah. They're taste testing us.
Anyways.
Oh, the new girl.
Oh, yeah, new girl. What do you think?
I don't know how to pronounce her name correctly, so I'm not going to attempt to. But...
Racist. Okay.
Thank you for acknowledging who I am. But I think she's a lovely kind of addition. I think she's playing the game as she should, but not in a way that's malicious. And her little banter with Nick is just, it keeps cracking me up,
Nicholas. Nick. So cute.
I hope that isn't offensive that he's doing it, but she's not taking it that way. It seems
I think she's into it.
At least from the edit. And I'm just hoping that we get more of an insight into her personality. I think she's in finance or something she mentioned.
She said she just graduated with an MBA in finance.
Something like that.
Yeah, international finance maybe, international business.
I want to get a sense of her personality more and why she does what she does.
Yeah,
so I'm
she
excited
just
for
seems
that.
very hot right now, which they all are.
Yeah, initially.
So let's talk bravo, fucking bravo.
Let's go. Let's do it.
So there's a lot on right now. It was really hard to decide what to recap because I'm watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, Real Housewives of Miami, Next Gen NYC, and The Valley.
Oh, man.
So I chose not to recap the Valley this week because Jax Taylor's back. And I don't think he should be on the show.
That's the general consensus from, right?
Yeah. And so I will be back recapping the Valley for Kristen's engagement because I do want to talk about that. Congrats to Kristen and Nia. They had their babies. Yay.
Congrats.
And yeah, I just didn't want to go there recapping the Valley, especially because it is so dark.
Yeah, I can't really think of a positive event other than
it's so
new life.
I do like watching it, but talking about it and analyzing it sometimes it's just like
on top of everything going on already in our world. It's like you want some lesser heavy pieces of drama.
And Atlanta was good this week. Like it's been kind of boring this season. They really did need Phaedra.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, they're bringing her in so late. I'll probably talk about it for the finale. We're not quite at the finale yet, but it's still not hitting. It's still not classic Atlanta.
Phaedra's an icon though, right?
Icon.
That's gotta spruce things up a little bit.
And Portia and, things are happening, but thank God for Portia.
Yeah.
She makes that show watchable.
Man, there's always that one or two
Frickin' frack. So we're going to talk about Next Gen NYC because I haven't talked about it yet. I'm obsessed with it. It's so good.
I'm getting into it a little bit more now.
I love it.
I was hesitant at first.
And then we're going to talk about Miami just because last week was their premiere for season 7. And I thought the premiere was a lot better than this episode. Mm-hmm. But still for episode 2, there's still things happening, things developing, friendships happening. And Miami should be it's still more interesting than Beverly Hills ever was last season. Yeah. And Beverly Hills is the most watched housewife show when Miami's 10,000 times more interesting.
Yeah.
So let's start with Miami since I don't have as much to talk about, and then we'll get into Next Gen. Mm-hmm. And then, guys, next week is a special episode, so we'll talk about that a little bit at the end too.
Yeah, a super fan episode, one might say.
Super fan, because I'm a super fan, super house guest.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about season 7. Episode 2, Miami Takes Milan. Mm-hmm. So it opens up with Adriana, Gertie, and Lisa, and they're going out for food and drinks. Really talk about Alexia's divorce.
Yeah.
I mean, the divorce is kind of insane with Alexia because she married Todd 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. When the show got rebooted, because Miami got canceled.
It was gone for a minute.
It was gone, and then it got revived, and it came back. And
resurrected.
Literally resurrected from the dead, and it kind of opened with Todd and Alexia's wedding.
Okay.
And so the fact that Todd just left in the middle of the night is
that's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's got to have a really good reason or something.
And then Lisa announces she's, walking in Milan Fashion Week, but her dad just had a heart attack. And she's super anxious about seeing Larsa. I kind of, low-key, it comes up later, but I kind of agree with Larsa on, if you're so worried about your dad, why are you walking in this fashion show?
Yeah, there's got to be something for it to really be above spending time with a family member who's just gone through.
Yeah. Well, and her dad, really she didn't grow up with him. And so they reconnected a month ago or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
maybe there's just some distance that's still there, and
or
support
is
from afar.
Faye more attractive and desirable?
It could be finances, could be distance. Yeah. It could be other families surrounding the situation that makes her uncomfortable. It's hard to say.
She's nervous about seeing Larsa.
Yeah.
Because things didn't end well last episode.
Oh no.
Then we see Larsa and her son get ready for Milan.
Yeah.
Her son is gorgeous.
He's a nice looking dude.
All of their kids look just like Scottie Pippen though.
Yeah.
Scottie Pippen. All of them.
Yeah.
And so they're running for their flights. Lisa's running behind for the flight. I was anxious for all of them to miss their flight.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
They're just running and running.
Yeah. I'm like, please make this flight. I cannot hear either of them crash out.
No, please.
When people talk about Huda crashing out,
yeah,
I'm like, watch Real Housewives. Watch a housewife crash out.
That's a premium crash out.
Premium. And then so we see Julie and Alexia work out and do Pilates. And Julia is really forcing the storyline about Gertie, like not hopping on the Zoom and like being like, she wasn't there for me. And then she like didn't act right during this cruise that Julia took her on. I'm like, what do you think? Because I was like, maybe sometimes Miami, I feel like English is most of their second language. So there's like miscommunication happening with like how someone's communicating, if it's dry or if it's just like I'm saying what I feel. What do you think?
I think that's always a possibility. She was going through her text and like, you know, reading through it for us, the audience. And I was trying to wrap my head around like what was the significance of those specific pieces of text that she was sharing with us. I don't know if I got what it was, but I mean, how can it not be to some extent, at least? And if they're not seeing each other on a, you know, one-to-one, face-to-face basis on the regular, then if it's all through, you know, an intermediary, a phone, whatever it is, there's things that are going to be lost, you know? You lose out on so much, like, tone and, like, mood when you're not, like, physically in a space with somebody.
I'm very team Gertie.
You're like, I already know what I'm thinking. You ain't got to convince me.
I love Gertie. I love her. I think she's such a great housewife. And she's also been very nice to the pod.
Hey, then okay.
Yeah, I mean, we like Gertie.
That's an easy win.
I don't know why. I really love her. So then Lisa and Larsa arrive in Milan and they're all put in one car, which Larsa and Lisa are not happy with. And they get in, they're like, look, we're all getting along.
I felt a little, I don't know, maybe there's a good reason that the son decided to sit in the front, but I felt a little, I don't know, like
sit with your mom.
Protect your mom. You know these people. Yeah. I don't fully understand where all the discomfort and awkwardness stems from. But if you know that your mom is like feeling a little awkward about it, just be there. Just sit next to her. You don't have to sit in the front just so she doesn't feel like it's 2 against 1.
I know. I did not like, I was like, especially like culturally, because I don't know. I'm a white girl and I would never leave my mom back there. I protect my mom, but I feel like especially because she's Middle Eastern people are very protective over their mom in that way. So I'm like, bro, like don't leave your mom. And they're like, oh, we're getting along. But then they start arguing kind of instantly.
They weren't going at each other's throats per se, though.
Larsa did call Jody psycho, though.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a screaming match or like, you know, any kind of physicality. It was just like maybe some name calling and some, you know, back and forth here and there. Okay,
so then we see Gertie at her surgeon's office and she's getting another breast reconstruction surgery. And, you know, they said one more. She wants one more. She doesn't feel like she's back in her body yet after the cancer.
Yeah.
And you can tell her husband does not want her to do it.
It feels like she's kind of oscillating between like playing off the discomfort that she's feeling with like a little bit of humor and also like her fear of what these other treatments may entail for the both of them. And then again, you know, dealing with that with a little bit of like humor and like not pleading per se to him, but like I think she's more worried about it than she's letting on is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's still surgery and it's scary, but I also understand. I've never had like a big health thing like that happen, but I can understand she feels almost disconnected from her body. You know, especially like for so much of our lives as women, we're told our womanliness is in our breasts. Yeah. You know, like your breasts can give life. Well, her breasts almost killed her.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm wondering where his mind is at too, like where his concern stems from. Is it concern for her body and her well-being?
I think
his like time and energy being taken from.
Well, he's a firefighter and they do have children as well. So I'm sure it is a lot of like.
Okay, then he has work to think about. He has the children to think about. Then he has to think about taking care of her while she's recovering. And
surgery is also just high risk no matter what. Yeah. You know, going under is like no
and then
fun.
Money too, probably the financials of it all.
I think they probably got a lot of money.
You think so? Okay. Then maybe that's, then I don't know.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
So then we get back to, first we see Marisol and her hubby. They're about to have a courthouse wedding and make it legal.
Yeah, good
Marisol's not happy with Alexia, though. She's like, oh, she's awful with Todd. Can she not get with Todd? Yeah. Like, a lot of the season feels like it's going to lead up to this, like, eventual divorce with Todd.
Yeah. What is it? Work, job security? Is that what this is?
Larsa's son is not happy about all the drama going on with Lisa. You can just see he's annoyed. But it's like, dude, you got this job because your mom's a housewife. So you can't be mad at her for acting like a real housewife when it's the only reason you're here.
Yeah.
Not my favorite Nepo baby. Like, at least the kids on Next Gen NYC, they're good Nepo babies.
To an extent. Yeah.
Perform, monkeys, perform. So they prep for the fashion show. The fashion designer kind of makes fun of Larsa's son for his inexperience, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like, to never be in a fashion show, like not do like LA Fashion Week, which is like the shittiest of the fashion weeks, to just go to Milan, which is the biggest fashion week. It's where Fashion Week originated, I believe.
Dude.
That's like crazy. It's like you never doing a film and then your first film is just pudding can.
I know, right? Or like, here's Leonardo.
Yeah. He's your actor. Yeah. It's just like, okay, you're going to skip a step. So I don't know. So then we see Alexia, Mirasol, Julia, and Kiki go out to dinner with some boys. And we just see Alexia kind of melt down about what's going on with Todd. And I want to see Alexia be a little tougher.
Yeah, I think.
Because I know it's within her.
Yeah.
I don't think she's a weak person.
No, I don't think so either. I think there's just maybe a little bit of restraint for one reason or another.
And Mirasol thinks Todd is just trying to control the narrative.
Do you think
like
that he is?
I agree. I think he just put a stop to the divorce because they started filming and he didn't want it to be the whole storyline.
Right.
And that's why, because like he married her on the show. So like you knew she was on a TV show. She was a reality TV star. So like, what was the issue? How did that change? How, like when you married her, that wasn't something you cared about, but all of a sudden you do?
Is this a potential trend? Because isn't this low-key a topic for Summer House as well with, I forget her name right now, but who just had a baby?
Oh, Lindsay?
Yeah, because her partner
doesn't want to be on the show.
From what I last
But he never was on the show.
He wasn't on the show.
So I think it's one thing to give consent and then be in a marriage and be like, I never wanted that. Da, da, da. Like Turner always said he never wanted to be public. But I do think it is a thing because of what the contracts these people sign to appear on these shows fucks them over.
Yeah. You don't have the same rights as some other folks.
Alexia then said in that dinner scene that their lifestyle was fake. She was like, everything was fake. The cars were fake, the apartment, da da da. And I thought that was a very vulnerable moment because every housewife gets accused of their lifestyle being fake. She said, yes, it's true.
Was she saying that in order to kind of jab at her ex?
I think so. I think it was a jab, but maybe an honest bit of truth as well.
Okay.
Because I think that's a big thing to admit. And then Alexia admits Todd's a narcissist. Now they were all saying, he's a narc. And you were like, wait, what?
I may really just be out of the loop. I don't know if it's a generational thing or it's, I don't know, just a subculture thing that I'm not a part of. But from what I understood, and really just from the movies, is that narc meant a person who rats out
a cop.
Yeah.
You know, essentially.
Yeah, not a narcissist. So I'm like, is this slang that just recently developed? You tell us in the comments. Explain to me how these two pieces of slang kind of came about.
So then we're back in Milan and Lisa is feeling herself. She's like, I am hotter than these 20-year-old models. And she tries to like be nice, but keep a watch on Preston. I did like how Lisa like was with Larsa's son still. I felt like even though she was feuding with Larsa, she was trying to protect her son at least.
You got to separate your beef with somebody with somebody else catching some strays.
Well,
especially a younger person.
Yeah. And then during the fashion show, Lars is literally taking selfies of herself as Lisa walks out.
That was so petty, bro.
Housewife jab. And then Larsa tells Lisa they need to talk when they back, but tonight they want to have fun, you know? And then Fabulous, the rapper's there. And he's like, why are they fighting? Because I think he's like, there are all these cameras around. What's the drama in Housewives?
Wasn't that so funny? I don't want to talk about this right now. Immediately starts to argue.
Starts talking about with a famous rapper.
Yeah.
And he says he sides with Lisa, but Larsa thinks he sides with her. I don't think he really sided with either of them, but I'm not telling them that.
No. Don't start another fight, right?
Yeah. And then Jody disappears into the night, which Jody just gives me the...
I don't know what to make of his personality. I don't know much about him to begin with.
I know.
I did get a little tingle of uneasiness, but I don't know where it's coming from. So I don't want to
I don't know
throw
if
anything out there.
He always says he's just uncomfortable on camera.
That could be it.
I don't know. Because then it goes, the camera shut down, but tension between Jody, Lisa, and Larsa doesn't. Dun, dun, dun. 1 week later, and it flash forwards to Larsa telling everyone like Jody was acting crazy and his pupils were all dilated. I think they're alluding to he was like on drugs and
potentially
angry.
To someone who's coming into this a little more fresh than you and some other people. I was about to start laughing so hard, to be honest with you, because I was like, what are they building this up to be? Like, what could this potentially like entail, right? This must be really serious. And it's just a picture of him just like standing. I'm just like, what? What is this? Nothing happened?
But I think it's like he's looking a little crazy.
He could be a little, if I had a moment to really look at the picture, but from just looking at it for those like 5 to 8 seconds, I'm like, he's just standing there, bro. Like, he's not doing anything, man. But maybe we'll find out something more.
We'll find out. Want to talk about our favorite show right now?
Next Gen.
Yeah, Gen NYC.
Oh, yes.
Next Gen NYC, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So the episode is called Daddy Issues and Poolside Tissues, which low-key, I thought the episode title sounded like a ChatGPT name.
Hey, I mean, it works, kind of, right?
So the episode opens up with our queen, the star of the show, Ariana Biermann, Kim Zolciak's daughter. So do you know who her mom is?
I've heard the name.
Don't be tardy for the party.
Gotcha.
The one white lady from Atlanta.
The one white lady from Atlanta.
Bad blonde wig. Yeah.
The white token.
So Ariana is truly the star of the show. I love her. I'm obsessed with her.
Yeah.
And we just see her going through the city. And the city is like another character in the show, which I love.
Dude, on top of that introduction, the editing of this show too, I just want to say, is just like so different than the other shows that I've seen. I don't know who they have in their editorial department, who their assistant editors are, and like what choices they're making with these subtitles, and like some text being larger than others, and like just like I don't know, it feels a little bit more geared for a younger audience, and I think that's the whole intention of the show. So
even my friends who don't like, all my friends who are watching Love Island but don't watch Bravo, they're like, what Bravo show should I watch? I'm like, this.
Yeah.
Because I think it could be geared for non-Bravo watchers as well.
Yeah.
And then we see Ava. Oh, Ava is so beautiful. She's the light-skinned black girl with the curly hair.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. So she FaceTimed Brooks. And he just talks about how annoyed he and everyone's just mad at Charlie, which I am too. Fuck Charlie. He's kind of annoying.
He's kind of annoying.
He has issues with everyone.
Some unhealthy stuff for sure. And then there's other moments where I'm like, oh man, I kind of feel for you. Like I feel
he's broken in a way too.
Who isn't?
Yeah. So Ava goes over to Charlie's house to like confront him about him having issues with essentially everyone.
Yeah.
And then we see all these like different friends of, which Gen NYC has like, I know who the main cast members are, but there are some like friends of, I'm like, give me name cards for everyone. Like
a couple of times, not even the first time.
No, like literally, I need more. I don't know these people. They're giving me name cards for like Gia. I've known Gia for a long time.
Right. But
I know
for
who
new
she
audiences,
is.
it's
new people. I need it. And so then we see Brooks golfing with his dad, Seth Marks. Seth Marks, he's my favorite house husband.
He's pretty funny. I'll give him that. I don't know how intentional this stuff is, if he has this pre-planned or if he's just like an off-the-cuff kind of guy. But I'm with you. He cracks me up.
I love him. And I love just seeing this like father-son relationship play out.
Yeah.
You know, especially like a queer boy and his dad just having like a pretty healthy father-son relationship.
I would say healthy. It seems, at least from what we're watching.
Yeah, representation at least wise. And so he's like, how's your sex life? And he's like, that's not something I want to talk to my dad about.
Or that I need to discuss. He was very, he could be a diplomat, honestly. The way he like talks to people. It's a skill. It
is a skill. And then we learn more about Brooks's new relationship.
Yeah.
So cute to see him in love, but his boyfriend lives in Austin in LA and Brooks lives in New York.
So and he really wants him to
moved to New York.
Stay
Yeah,
with him.
he's like, stay with me.
That B-roll was really cute too. Them like cleaning up. I was cracking up to him vacuuming the fridge. I'm like, why are you vacuuming the fridge, my guy? But hey,
I've been there.
you've been there.
Wait, my favorite part. How's your sex life? I want a deeper, more emotional connection. Like a mother. That's the next step for me, to be like a mother.
The step above a dad is a mother.
Is a mom. I understood where he was coming from. And honestly, if I was a man and if I was a father, I would feel the same way.
Yeah. And it's rare when you get to see that kind of stuff too. Like just a really healthy, open kind of relationship.
And it's very loving. The relationship is so loving. Like, it's kind of weird, but like, they're a reality TV family.
He does maybe overstep a little bit here and there, and the kids being a little uncomfortable.
Like with the whole
warranted.
Charlie situation, when Brooks tells his dad about the Charlie situation, his dad's like, do you want me to intervene? He's like, no, I'm 24.
But he asked, right? I would give him credit for at least asking.
Yeah.
As opposed to just being like, okay. Because some men might be like, not even going to say what they're going to do and then just go do it. Like, why did you go talk? Why did you do,
And Brooks tries to explain to his dad more like what happened with Charlie.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, he explains it to him and he's like, he's just immature. And he's like, Charlie must not have a good relationship with his dad. He read him.
He could see himself in him too, he said, right?
Yeah, he was like, I was just like that at his age. And he was like, Dad, no, you weren't. You had 3 kids when you were... Charlie's a little bit older than the rest of them. Most of them are like between 22, 23, 24, 25. Charlie's 29.
Yeah.
And like, we're also in our late 20s. There is a difference between being 29 and being 24.
I think so. I know too, like everybody, the whole when you turn 25, your brain is, supposedly fully formed. But I'll be honest with you. I feel like that means close to nothing.
I felt a difference though for me when, maybe not right at 25, but in my early 20s versus being like 25, 26, 27, I felt myself like not like the best way to describe it is I would make decisions that I knew maybe weren't the best decision in my early 20s. And I just like wouldn't care as much about the consequences, or I was like, I'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
And now I'm more like, no, the consequences are more at the forefront of my mind.
Yeah. I think that's a real thing.
I think, but it's more gradual. It's not just all of a sudden you wake up.
Yeah. I think
it is gradual, but you notice it when you're like 28, 29 more.
Yeah.
And then when you see someone who's like 23.
Right, right. You can notice it too. Like, oh shit, that person is a little undercooked.
Yeah. And then we see Teresa and Gia talking about getting her Chuckalina lasered in New Jersey. I got my Chuckalina lasered.
Oh my God.
What if I start calling it my Chuckalina? Hey, come get this Chuckalina.
T-shirts coming soon. Chuckalina. Just says Chuckalina.
Just Chuckalina. This Chuckalina fights back. Fights back.
Oh my God.
So then Gia says she would never want to move to the city because it's so dirty and gross. But there's also no taxes in New Jersey. Lies. Her mom went to jail essentially for like not paying taxes.
Wondering, not paying taxes. Now I'm wondering, was it just a matter of not knowing the information, or was it like actively breaking the law? Because it seemed like she just didn't know that like taxes do exist where she lives.
Taxes exist there, girl. Like,
yeah.
Gia, please pay your taxes.
Or just like, watch some videos on like how...
I think she's a college graduate. How does she not know there's taxes?
Maybe she was joking. Maybe she was being hyperbolic, or I really don't know. But it's funny.
So then we see Charlie going to lunch with his mom and his mom's boyfriend. So we kind of get this image of his mom as like, Charlie comes from money. Like, he says his allowance is $10,000 a month from his dad.
Damn.
And he uses it all to like invest in crypto.
I really wonder how his job works. I really wonder how the crypto trading thing... He doesn't have a job. Like, he's a crypto trader, according to the
Yeah,
Chiron.
I think he just like spends the money his dad gives him on crypto. I don't think he like works for a company.
Okay, maybe he doesn't work for a company, but I'm just wondering what the job entails.
Yeah.
Like, what do you just...
What does that look like? He definitely comes from this like Severance type of family.
You mean Succession?
Succession, not Severance.
If you come from a Severance kind of family, that's abuse, torture, abduction.
Well, wasn't that what he was arrested for? Torture?
Really?
In the crypto thing, he got arrested for it, but I think they like tortured a guy. We'll read the...
I heard he got arrested for something. I forgot the details.
It was a crypto
torture?
thing, but there was torture involved.
Okay, we're saying that word a lot right now. This is all allegedly. We know nothing.
Allegedly.
We know nothing. We are claiming nothing. Do not sue us.
I'm going to look it up so we can quote it.
Yeah, look it up because I'm just like, say what?
The page 6 article.
Can you find like Associated Press or something?
Well, not everyone reports on Bravo stars, like Associated Press.
Okay.
So video emerged Friday showing the arrest of John Waltz, a cryptocurrency investor suspected of kidnapping and torturing Italian crypto millionaire Michael Valentino Tefrosto Carton with a chainsaw, electric wire, and a weeks-long extortion exempt. The clip shows a blonde man that people say is Charlie outside the Soho townhouse. So was he arrested too?
I'm sorry. What?
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
so
he kidnapped somebody and like what?
So Charlie has not been arrested or accused of any crimes. He was just with the guy who was arrested.
Okay, that's a little different.
That makes more sense. Okay.
I'm like, whoa. Especially watching the show, I did not get the vibe that he was a Patrick Bateman kind of guy.
A source described the apartment they were arrested at as a frat house for crypto bros.
Okay.
That makes more sense. But that's kind of crazy that he was like even there with someone like that.
Not too crazy. He seems a little douchey, but I wouldn't say he's
torturing
sociopath.
people.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa.
Okay, that makes more sense. I'm glad we Googled it.
Yeah.
His mom dated Basquiat, though.
And apparently Basquiat
has a big cock.
I wasn't going to say it. I was trying to find a better way to say it.
Has big dick energy.
Yeah.
I believe it.
And it didn't work out for whatever reason.
So his father, though, his biological father, super distant. And we get more of that from like the conversation with the mom. The mom maybe wanted to be there more emotionally, but they all kind of fear this dad who's very Succession-like.
Yeah, he felt a little like abandoned emotionally.
Yeah.
And I don't know about physically, but he had to take over custody, his dad. But like that phone call thing that he mentioned where he was like, I thought me and my mom were on the same page, but when it came to answering to their dad, she sided with whatever the dad said and in fear of potentially retaliation in one way or another.
I'd be scared of him too.
And that's his point of view too. We have to remember that, right? We have no...
we don't have her point of view. What if she was just like, no, my kid's a dick and needed that discipline from him? I don't know.
Dad doesn't seem very nice though.
No. So then we see Brooks in his apartment. His apartment is huge for New York. I'm like, how do the Brooks family have so much money?
I don't know, bro. More tax fraud? Who knows?
I
don't know that. I'm making a joke.
And then we see Dylan. Dylan is adorable. Dylan loves to sew. I love Dylan. He comes in, just is teaching them. Because Brooks is planning his comeback to not be a one tracksuit wonder.
Yeah, in his own words.
And then Riley joins them, and it's very clear that Riley and Brooks have never had real jobs, but Dylan has. They've never had to work customer service. Like maybe, they've had an internship for their mom's company.
You mean from the stitching moment? I mean, I haven't really played around with
I also
like
know Riley and I know Brooks. I just don't think they've ever had like shitty minimum wage jobs.
I mean, I could probably believe that, yeah.
And then they flash back to Georgia's art show, and we see Charlie apologizing to Ariana, which is, I think he realizes, like, everyone likes Ariana. Like, don't fight with Ariana just because her mom's a housewife. Like, that's so dumb.
Yeah, you're picking fights for what? There's no good reason.
And then Brooke's dad calls Charlie and asks them to get together, and it's extremely awkward. He goes, "What's up, brother?" when he gets there. Why do men do that?
I don't know.
Hey, brother.
I don't know.
Does my dad call you brother?
He hasn't called. Neither of them have called me brother.
Brother. Can you imagine my stepdad?
I would be taken aback, but I wouldn't show it if they had said that to me. I would be laughing in my mind and then like trying to figure out what the hell I should say next. I don't know why some grown men do that. I think some grown black men do that, or some grown people of
But
color.
two white
do that.
guys.
I think I've seen some white guys say that too, in like attempt to kind of build
rapport.
Yeah, you know,
build the connection
of like, hey, I'm just like you, or like I'm not one of the other people out there that like, you know, are weird. I'm cool.
So Seth then says, Seth, who's Brooks's dad, he's like, I want to be a life coach. And he kind of treats the whole scene like he's coaching Charlie in life.
And Charlie in his testimonials is just judging him left and right.
Yeah.
And like, you know, just thinking of him as lesser than, essentially, but a little kinder than his dad.
Mm-hmm. And then Seth is kind of like, stop objectifying my daughter, but in the nicest way. The nicest way. Like, I would be a lot more scared if I was like a dude who talked about, you know, someone's daughter and the way he did. And then, I
think the edit made it seem like it was a little bit more intense than it was. I think Charlie was just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But he was just kind of like, I know this dude. I've been like you, dude. I'm not trying to, but like, come on. And
then Seth is like, I'm proud of you. I want you to know that. Does your dad tell you he's proud of you? I'm like, and Charlie is just like, God damn. Like,
stop triggering me, bro. Brother, stop triggering me, bro. You know who says that actually? Hulk Hogan. Brother.
Hey, brother.
Brother.
And then they talk about Dylan. So apparently Dylan is Charlie's roommate. Dylan is bisexual. That made me so excited. I love a bisexual moment.
Fun.
Yeah. And then Seth is like, that's, you know, how I'm trying to get.
Bro. He said pan.
No, he's like
pan.
He goes bisexual, and then Charlie's like, yeah, he considers himself pan. So he's like just open. Dylan's just fluid, and he's like, I'm trying to get like that. Don't tell my wife.
Don't tell my wife.
And so then the gang gets in a van, and they're going from Manhattan to New Jersey. They are crossing that river to go to Gia's party. Ariana's bringing all her laundry. Iconic. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
So they say they charge $25 because Ariana's just moved to New York, so she's in a hotel. They charge $25 per shirt.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
That water and detergent must be lasting you for months or something.
Right? And then so they all go, so they're on the way and they like are playing games and they're like, who's most likely to leave us at a strip club? And they all go Charlie, because apparently he had left them the night before. And so Riley tells the story of how they were all out together and Charlie met up with these girls, and like the girls didn't introduce themselves to Riley, but Riley didn't introduce herself to them either. It was just kind of like they were coexisting. And then Riley went up to them and was like, I like girls who like introduce themselves to me like, hi, I'm Riley. And I did think it was a little mean of her. Because like I've been in that situation, but you got to just kill them with kindness, Riley. You got to be like, hi, so nice to meet you, I'm Riley. And that's it. Like, don't be bitchy, because like she's Candy Burst's daughter. I'd be scared as shit. Like, what do I say to her?
I think that was a thing, now that you say that about her, who her mom is.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily even factor too, because there's a power imbalance
with fame.
But if you know who a person is and what their background, if you don't know, then it's just another stranger that you feel maybe a little socially awkward to go up to on both people's side, right? Like, but if there's someone else's friend, maybe that friend, not even the people.
Like
the
Charlie
other girls
should have introduced them.
Exactly. It's not necessarily.
She should have said something to Charlie.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're bringing new people into a space that you have other friends in, right?
Yeah.
Be the liaison, right?
But then Charlie's reacting and he went like that and started pointing his finger. He like is characterizing Riley as an angry black woman.
Or just being like
aggressive or angry.
Or also just like, what's the word I'm looking for? But like cringy, bro.
Yeah,
like
it's so cringy.
You're being like caricature, or like you're of like what you think but no, like a caricature of like what a douchey white boy,
him, for
you know, like of course you're gonna make this like gesture of like what a black woman would behave like physically.
And then Riley starts crying because I think she's realizing like her and Ava are the only like Black women on the show. And so she probably feels this like weight to represent all Black women on the show, which is a lot for like a 22-year-old,
Yeah.
And then there's flashbacks of all the white people calling Riley like angry or aggressive. And you can see that it's like not just this one moment that's hurting her. There's like been a pattern of this in this group.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And like the fact that she has to go out of her way to repeatedly address this does two things, I think. Like it is sad because it should be her friends having to do the explaining for her to some degree at least, and that it's not just her having to articulate why and how his behavior and the behavior of other people makes her feel uncomfortable and othered, but also it takes away from the opportunity to address the actual issue, which was feeling kind of in a different way othered because you have new people moving into a space, not introducing themselves, not having your friend introduce them or you to them, and you're feeling separate,
Yeah,
it's like different ways of feeling separated from your people,
Yeah. And I think like Charlie, if a Black person says it feels racial, then it's racial. Like you can explain why you didn't intend it to be that way, but like racism isn't always intentional.
Yeah, I think all things should be discussed though,
Yeah.
Because if you say that every little thing bothers you, maybe we should start to take that apart. Like what in particular, like for our own understanding as people of color too, so it doesn't lose its weight when you do say, hey, that felt a little racial, like, or that felt like kind of racist,
Yeah. And then Ava jumps in to defend Riley. She's like, Charlie, you need to apologize. And he refuses. He's like, I'm not sorry. So I'm not saying sorry. He's just kind of being a dick. They get to the party and it's beautiful. And you see everyone like doing cartwheels in the backyard, like doing laundry. I'm like, these New Yorkers need some green space. This is kind of us in Indiana. We were like, it's so bright. Let's go feed the chickens. Let's walk the dogs. Like we're like living a different life. We were like, suburbia.
So nice. So nice.
And then Riley then calls her mom for encouragement and Brooks listens in. And her mom gives her like the best advice. You know?
Yeah.
She's like, if this is his first experience with a Black woman, let it be that,
Exactly. Exactly.
I miss Candy in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I really do. And she's such a good mom.
Definitely from that phone call, just trying to be supportive and encouraging and not tell her, go fuck them up or like, but be like, hey, take care of your own peace. Understand that unfortunately this at the moment may be your circumstance, but doesn't mean that's going to be how it's always going to be. And you'll find your people and all that stuff.
Yeah. So then Charlie approaches Riley to talk and he's like, if we even need to talk. And she's like, yeah, we do. And she explains herself why he needs to just listen sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I think Charlie doesn't know how to be like empathetic.
Well, remember that story about him and his mom and like her telling him that when she was like really sick sometime when he was younger,
and he would make her food,
but
like a little boy.
Yeah, but like she would apologize, and he'd be like, "No, don't worry, I got you. I'll make you a sandwich, and I'll make myself a sandwich. I love you." And I think like most people who may seem like dicks on the surface,
there's a softness to them somewhere.
Yeah, unless they're genetically predisposed to some kind of condition,
Then they all make pizza. So he does eventually like apologize. And I think but we'll get there.
Yeah.
They make pizza. It's adorable. I want to have a pizza. I want to get wood ovens like that one day outside so we can all make pizzas like outdoors like that. Like that's dream home for me.
I would just worry about like bugs and like grass falling in my food,
But they're like in the patio area. They're not by the grass.
I know. Or just like if it's contained in some kind of way.
They're contained. Yeah, they're ovens.
Or like
they're like outdoor.
No, I know.
Cooking.
I mean like from cooking outside
You're not worried
to putting
when we
it
grill
in.
Outside.
Fair enough. That's a good point. I didn't even think about it in that way. Yeah.
It's same vibe. It's just outdoor cooking.
I'll take that.
And it's so good because it's like there's certain ovens for those outside and they get they're like way better.
Yeah.
But yeah, Charlie tells Georgia that he's not really sorry, that he only said he was sorry. I know, just to like essentially stop everything, but like keep that to yourself.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe he just trusts her. But did he not think that it wouldn't come up in some way? You know?
You're on reality TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if you don't want something to be brought up, don't say it to another person on camera. You know?
And even if you don't say it on camera, it'll still find its way out. So maybe just don't tell whoever's immediately there.
Yeah.
Or even in this friend group, tell somebody else, you know? But maybe he wants the drama. Or maybe he's like...
It's saying on camera.
Yeah. He doesn't think it's a big deal, I think, really.
And then, so the people he says it to go back and tell it to Ava, who's like pissed because she feels like she's kind of been the one helping him. And she's so mad that she goes and tells Riley.
Yeah.
And Riley's like, what the fuck, dude? So she confronts Charlie like a good reality star she is. Her mother taught her correctly. This is the kind of Nepo baby I want on my TV.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and she confronts Charlie, and Charlie's like, I gotta go. I can't deal with this. I have a small penis. I gotta go.
But then she pretends that she's unbothered by it too, which I think isn't the healthiest thing either.
No, because she's totally bothered.
And it's kind of petty too. It's like, yeah, no, we're good. But really,
it's like passive aggressive.
Very much. Just be like,
we're good. Be like, no, we're not good. I'm mad at you. But, you know.
Eva feels a little bit more sincere in that regard. Where like if something, from what I've seen of that
so far,
like, oh, if something bothers her, if she's a little uncomfortable or something, she'll articulate it. But maybe it'll be a little different the more we watch, because the preview for next week, it's looking like people aren't too happy with Ava. Oh no.
I know, but my favorite part was the sidekick like running after Charlie, and she like, please, can I talk to you? And he's like, no, I gotta go. And she's like, please, can I please just sit and talk with you? And he's like, I politely decline. And like he's trying to get out, but there's like a dog gate, and he's like all bamboozled.
I feel like he speaks like a lawyer sometimes.
He does. But man, I love this show.
I'm into it. I'm into
it. So next week we'll be back it's our 50th episode.
Crazy.
So we're not going to be recapping anything next week, but we have a lot of house guests coming back for a little reunion moment.
Some old, some new.
And then we have an interview with NoHo Nick.
Yeah.
Not NoHo Hank.
No.
NoHo Nick, and he's
no Chechen mob here. Sorry.
Yeah, he's a local influencer who really just like loves North Hollywood. And I thought if I'm going to profit off of the name North Hollywood, I want to give it back some love.
Yeah.
So be sure to follow us, guys. We're on all social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Threads. I'm on there. I'm on. I be active.
We're on everything.
We're not on X though.
No.
Just Threads.
X to X.
But be sure to follow us. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, all the things.
Yeah, comment, guys.
Comment, talk to us. We're all friends. And be sure to stay tuned for fun things coming.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.